right, welcome back to another Slice of Life episode. This is a Sunday upload, so it's gonna be, very into like meaningful, just positive general interactions with people. And it's usually a little bit more calm, not really actually. Sometimes it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be, I got a fun story coming up probably next week. Don't know. I'm probably uploading this tomorrow as I'm recording it, because I've been recording a bunch of other things instead of human-to-human interactions here. But this one's for the community. If you can't see in the title, it's for all y'all. And you've left a few comments here and there, and I just want to get back to some of you because I really do appreciate when people tune in and they drop by and they share their thoughts once here and there. It doesn't have to be anything profound or anything crazy like that. I know that some of the things I talk about tend to be a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more detailed. I don't like to use the word deep, right? Nothing's deep, come on, let's get real. But what I mean is like it's got more nuance to it, and you don't have to drop anything like that. For example, the comment I'm going to refer to here is more about volume, right? And so I just wanted to get back to, long story short, to the people who have shown up, popped in, and given their time to listen in on what I have to say here. Even though I've recorded, but I haven't uploaded 2 episodes that detail exactly what this project, continuing on from its history, its evolution of what used to be like the Animal Project, how its motives have slightly changed here and there, right? But overall, it's still a fairly comprehensive multimedia project that's a manifestation of the self of the character. And so a lot of times, yes, I am recording for my future self. It's like a time capsule. It's an analogy I like to use. As a result, it's also for self-therapeutic, psychotherapeutic, self-improvement reasons. And so part of that is just recording it for myself to help with my self-expression and articulating my thoughts and just communicating. But and also some of it means that as a time capsule, it's going to be something to look back on in the future and say, just a little throwback to when things were like this and so. It's interesting. Kind of takes a little page off of like some stoicism or just some general family album stuff. So a lot of times, part of the reason is I'm recording for myself and other various fragments and components of myself and fragments of future me. And so I really do appreciate when other people drop by and they feel like there's something that they can gain from this. If there's something that you find entertaining or you like listening in because you just, passing by the commute kind of kills the time, but you also find it either engaging or informative, or sometimes, God forbid, it's starting to get a little bit more entertaining now. It's getting a little bit more interesting now, right? It's great. It's good to have you. It's really, really good to have you. And so I just want to shout out several people. And again, it's in the name here, in the title, right? That there are several people I want to get back to. And there's a little bit of banter at the back too. But first, let's start off with, I think it's, who is it? There's Gian Cab. There's Jennifer Hill. So first Jen, second Jennifer Hill, and third is, can't remember, this is a German comment. Can't remember, there's some guy from Germany. I don't know if I had a tab up. But anyways, long story short, I just want to say here. Okay, so here's a comment from about 2 weeks ago. The upload was episode, if you can't see on over here, my left is your right. This was the episode on basic IT cybersecurity. And I was just working through some stuff that I had to do with IT. And then, so Jen, you left a little comment here saying, hey man, I'm enjoying the info you're talking about. In the future, can you lower the music and or raise the mic volume so that we can hear you better? It would make it much easier to listen because at full volume, it's still a bit difficult. Thanks. And honestly, I really appreciate this comment because it allows me to address something that honestly I've mentioned so many times, but sprinkled across different episodes so you never hear it. Is that I'm facing a situation where I have been largely keeping my volume down because, first of all, I don't like increasing the gain of my mic too high. It makes things kind of raspy and staticky. But the reason I had to do that in the first place is because I no longer live in the previous household, which was like a house, right? And so I was very loud actually before. Very loud. And then coming now, living after that crisis situation, and going homeless, and then going to a shelter, and then over to this new place. It's like a terrace building within the time span of like 3 years, 2.5 years. I just can't do what I used to do. And so I responded, and I feel bad about that, but I can compensate. And so things were going to get better. And if you can't tell, this recording, I made like substantially like 20, 30 recordings, and they're all uploaded. I think I'm way ahead of schedule at this point. I'm like into like March potentially for some of these episodes for certain series. But some series like this one, you'll see a drastic improvement in some of the production quality, visually at least, and interface wise, but not necessarily with the audio. Even the audio is a little bit better because I've been able to make fixes now and adjustments now, right? And that's because like I've recorded like multiple sessions already, like dozens of sessions already. It just happens to be different series recording at different times. And so it's something that while I record in batch, side to side on say this like January like 28th, for example, I might, one of those episodes recorded on the 28th of January might be uploaded 2 months down the road in March because it's in a different series, right? Which is like, might be inventory, might be digital research, it might be storytelling and people and networking and meaningful gratitude. And then another episode that we record on that same January 28th will be recorded and then uploaded the next week or the next day, right? So that's just kind of how things kind of work right now. And so there's a major drastic difference in production quality depending on which series you might see, depending. And of course, each series will start to tangentially diversify in their own ways, and you'll start to see little nuances as things start to specify. Anyways, long story short, I replied to Jan, and I really appreciate your comment. Thanks. I am aware. That's because right now, living in a terrace building, there's a lot of people, I'm not in the household anymore. There's people, even in the household, there were people up and down, but it's just a landlord and tenants, so it's fine. But now there are other tenants literally above and below the ceiling and the ground floor, to the side, to the left and right. I'm trying to be mindful of, like, even sometimes I record at night, I feel kind of guilty, right? Because people are trying to sleep. Fortunately for me, one of them actually is like, I know one of my neighbors has been a bit feisty, but she works in a very difficult field like nursing. And, it's very difficult for her to get some rest, but thankfully she sleeps during the day, so that works out for me. But not everyone's schedule is aligned like that, so I have to actually keep my volume down to be mindful of that. So that's why I don't speak up as much as I can, because of the fact that I live in like a terrace building or community housing or like apartment building, whatever you want to use to describe it. And so what I've done to try to adjust for that, right? Here's, I haven't completely, that's not just a write-off, I'm not excusing. There are things I can do, like increasing the gain on the mic, speaking closer to the mic, which you can't tell. I've adjusted it. Now I've moved the camera further back. If you take a look at my other series episodes, like webcam's kind of back, it gives me, it's not directly in my face, and I can get closer to the camera. Not get closer to the camera, get closer to the mic right here. And so hopefully this is clearer. I know that it'd probably be better if I had like a pop filter or something like that. Right now it's being used for different reasons, the pop filter. So just to keep the mic standing, everything is still very not ideal. It still feels like I kind of just moved in. But, well, not just moved in. Like some things have settled down, but there's still a long way to go in terms of the setup. So hopefully the audio is better. Keep leaving feedback. Jen, if you can't hear me still, feel free to the next episode to just comment in this episode when this gets uploaded. Just let me know how the volume's sounding now, if you're watching it. Hopefully it's loud enough. So I'll just read my comment, right? In response. So to be honest, it's a pleasant surprise. Thanks for the feedback. Sure thing. I'll see what I can do on the volume. Just being honest up front, because I like to be transparent, right? Is that I'm on a budget recovering from crisis of sabotage. A lot of people try to ruin my life, literally. It's like cancel kind of thing, right? Cancel culture shit. So the production quality is really, really low. I'm sorry. My apologies. It's been this way for a while, and now that I'm no longer living inside a house, but rather a terrace building with neighbors like 360 degrees all around the walls and ceilings, I have to speak quietly in my recordings and compensate by increasing the mic gain, which again, it's not ideal, right? It's not ideal. It's too much staticky. I used to be able to raise my voice and speak up clearly in like 2020-ish. So we'll keep in touch, and cheers. Like just little clean classes. So that's one comment. Let me see if I can pause and find the other comment. All right, found it. So the other comment. This one's from a German. So definitely have to keep the names in mind here. But from 1Milian. I'm pretty sure I butchered that up. I like the cat there. That's one of those Chinese New Year lunar, those lucky cats. Greetings from Germany. Times are tough. It's pretty sad to hear your honest struggles in a society where people just don't talk about it openly, expecting to be seen as weak. But I see your honesty as something very strong from the heart. Sorry, I just had to. I had to throw in that. I love accents. One of these series, one of these days, I'm gonna do one of these accents. It's gonna be. There's no doubt that people are gonna call me out for being like, oh, you're racist, this or that. No, it's just on good fun. Okay, there's no malice in it. Stereotypes. I know, but it's like online. It's not in person. Okay, we're not doing that too. Anyways, but greetings from Germany. Times are rough. It's pretty sad to hear your honest struggles in a society where people don't talk about openly, expecting to be seen as weak. But I see honesty as something very strong from the heart. So likewise, cheers from CA. Would love to have visited Germany in the past. So yes, times have changed. I've always loved your country's dry humor, very grounded, down-to-earth culture. And that's true, right? I do love that. Something I can't attest to anymore in my home city. A little bit onto that, by the way, Milian. I don't think you're watching this, but just in case, right? I really do like Eastern European culture very much. Partly Slavic. I'm not sure. Baltic's the north. That's like the north, right? That's like Finland, I believe. But I really like Macedonia and like Czech Republic. It's got that straightforward directness, very practical, very straightforward, very honest communication. Okay, doesn't mean that people necessarily fully trust each other. It's just very grounded. It's very reserved. It's very, in my eyes, it's a very sane way for society to participate, like in the civil discourse. And it's just a good. I like that culture. I like that kind of culture. I even like the aesthetic, the general aesthetic of the old copper towers and everything, and the intricate ornate churches and buildings and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite. I would love to go to Poland. I would love to go to the Czech Republic, to Prague, and Yugoslavia. Well, I hate Yugoslavia. That's kind of dated. I still got my history down, but it's not 1980. It's not 1918 anymore, you know. It's a little bit dark, isn't it? But you know. Anyways. Second comment, yes, true strength is born from integrity and resilience in character, not the facade or false ego, nourished by materialistic shallow experiences, rampant today's society, globally digitized economy. Sorry for the delayed response, going through a lot of moment. Wish you a very blessed new year. My second comment was probably a little loaded. I didn't need to do that, but I just had to throw in something relevant. Okay. So thanks for dropping in, Milian, and also to Gian. Now there's also something else. There's also someone else who had a comment, and that's, I believe, Jennifer Hill, 4KO, I believe. I saved it on like Excel somewhere because I noticed that the comment disappeared. And so I just want to say that I didn't forget about your comment. I'm sorry that I didn't make it back in time. You probably just deleted it because I didn't respond in a timely fashion. My apologies. That's because, like I said, I've been really busy. If you can't tell, within the next couple weeks and stuff, you're going to see a lot of stuff that we're working on anyways, whether it's healthcare, medicine, finance, housing, the workplace, business stuff. There's just a lot of relationships, like friends, there's a lot going on, right? So, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with your life, and you'll see that basically I haven't been able to respond in a timely fashion to some of these things, and that is partly my fault. Sometimes I just don't know what to say. Sometimes I don't particularly respond, by the way, I don't use my phone to respond to comments either. So it's only when I'm here, back in my place, and when I do, there's usually everything else to do. So, but it was like, I saw that comment for like 1 or 2 days, and the notification was still there for Jennifer Hill. And you said something along the lines of, thanks for the analysis, exclamation mark. And then just something, just and then O dash, and it got cut off. I don't know what you said. So I just want to say, it's too bad I couldn't get back to you in time. But you left like, quick compliment, little thanks for the analysis, and then you want to, like, I think you had some kind of criticism that you wanted to deliver, and I wish that I could have seen it. So if this is just a shout out to Jen, to Gian, thanks for the support and just telling me about the volume and just letting me know the feedback that you're interested in what to hear in the things that I talk about. And then also to 1Milian for the warmth and understanding of the value of honesty from Germany, from my country to yours as well. And then Jennifer, I'm sorry I missed your comment. You had something to say about what was it? There was something you had to say, and I couldn't read it. After I checked in about 4 days afterwards, and as you expected, like, the comment is gone. I'm not sure why you deleted it, but I guess maybe you just felt, let's be honest, sometimes it feels uncomfortable. It's a small channel, you don't really know me, I don't really know you, right? So it's fair. And but I appreciate you just saying thanks for the analysis. And I do I guess a lot of analytical thinking, so that comes with like philosophy. It was a problem solving method, right? Sometimes if I'm not sure, like, everyone goes through their own struggles. For those of you, it's not just Gian or 1Milian or Jenn or the rest of the people here, right? Different people use different strategies in life to manage. I know one thing that I did as a strategy when I was growing up was, like, I wanted to focus on executive thinking, problem solving, emotional regulation, emotional understanding, rational thinking, and decision making and problems, all these things, using whatever I could in my capacity, communication, thought, reasoning, to solve the problems I was facing from a very early age that I couldn't. A lot of people didn't have that kind of environmental stressor, I suppose, or they did, but they compensated with different ways. Some people use debauchery, some of them use more destructive means, and I just chose. I'm not saying that I had some destructive things too, but they weren't as destructive. It wasn't smoking or drugs. It was more like detachment, desensitizing myself. I'm not going to say when it gets kind of dark there, but I would kind of desensitize myself using some very, method acting of like brutal torture devices, and but I'm not going to talk too much about it. Long story short, thinking is one of the things that I use. Solving problems, being practical, being very, very grounded in reality, being as realistic as possible. So that's where the analysis comes from. Okay, so if you can, please, Jen, just like repeat the comment. I'm sorry I missed it. I would love to hear what you actually had to say. It doesn't have to be, by the way, just so you guys know, everyone watching, it's a free, like, you can say whatever you want. Like, feel free to just leave. Like, I'm gonna get to banter in a moment here, because there's gonna be some funny shit, because there was some like negative feedback, right? So we're gonna get to that. It's gonna be funny. But when it comes to, you can deliver criticism, man. Like, you can just say things that I don't really resonate to this, or I disagree. You can always say just disagree. Just come here and say, I don't feel that way, or I do agree, and you can just let your thoughts like freely flow. Okay, if you feel like that. Of course, you do have to be mindful, of course, of the fact that there are other people watching, and but and listening as well into this. And so whatever you say, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of scrutiny from other people as well. But that's why it's a conversation, not like a dialogue. I always like to emphasize one of these things here for the three of you who had left comments here, and there's a fourth person as well. I'm going to get to in a moment, and then we'll get to like a group banter session. Definitely, one thing I always endorse that a lot of people didn't understand, especially when I go about my daily life in the public, whether it's on the bus, on the train, at the library, at work, is I have what I call an open door policy. Not what I call, that's terminology from when I was in university. So if you guys have ever read through the course syllabus, syllabi in plural, of your like calc lecture, or your organic chemistry lecture, or your quantitative finance course, and you go through the syllabus, one of the things I always adopt from academia was that I have open door policy. If you have any questions, any concerns, any things you don't like, any issues, you can always just come up to me and approach me face to face, man to man, in person. This is also not just an academic thing. I'm drawing analogies from different sources. One of them is also like just being a real ass person, a real ass homie, okay? Because I grew up in like a kind of like downtrodden, rundown area in our city, and I say, you know, you gotta be upfront, money up front, all right? No bullshit going talking smack behind people back, motherfucking coward ass motherfucker, you know. All right, totally different avenues, but the same theme of character. We want to have direct communication. A third analogy, aside from university course syllabi in academia, from ghetto hood ass but holding integrity with the real ones who try to make it out and stay true to their character. And the third analogy would be like stoicism or philosophy of language, the Gricean maxims. Just communicate truthfully, communicate honestly, communicate clearly, directly, right? Not behind people's back. Don't lie, be honest, right? Just kind of common sense shit that people don't get, right? So this is like, that's how I have, that's what I do. And so anytime you listen to the podcast and you hear anything here, you can always just put in the comments and can just freely express yourself, your disagreements or your opinions, or share ideas that might be a little bit, you know, unconventional, and that's totally okay. It's totally fine. And it's called an open door policy, right? That's what they use in terms of the course syllabus. You know, if you have questions, come to the professor's office or the instructor's office, and then speak to the TA, the teaching assistant, or the professor or the prof, right? And then you just have conversation in person. And so that's the way I handle things in life, in real life, but also when it comes to this manifestation, this extension of the self through this project. I do things the same way. So it's an open door policy. Always feel free to just say, and then we can disagree. And so we're gonna get to that in a moment right now, right? So there's one last comment that's kind of like positive, right? And then we're gonna get to like the criticism and the banter, so in a moment. So give me a second here. And I think this is the last comment I'll get to, the last single comment I'll get to, right? This one's from Rocker Dude. So Rocker Dude, rock on, right? Just very short quip, just I like your content, dude, thanks. And I hope that you do it too, because apparently in this section, I thought that was one of the first ones, like coming back, say you're doing great, stay confident, proactive, reflective. Because at that time, right, people, well, it probably still is going on, let's be honest. People are just kind of masking it away now. But yeah, there was a lot of like people were just being openly judgmental and awful. And I was kind of counteracting that, right? Rebuking that and trying to support, generally speaking, yeah, I bully the bullies. Facts, all right? I bully the bullies. I'm just gonna keep it real, a buck. When I was in the shelter with my caseworker, and she's like, you're just, we need more people like you. And I don't know about that. I'm not a saint, but what I will say is that, if things go too far to the left, I'll turn more to the right. If things go too far to the right, I'll steer more to the left, right? If things become, a little too extreme on one end, I'll go to the opposite. I'm the counterbalance, right? And if things become stagnant and too centrist, then I'll add a little bit of flair. I'll try to stir the pot a little bit, get things going, add a little bit of excitement. But most of the time, there's already enough excitement in the world. There's a little bit too much drama, right? So I'm kind of counterweight, and throughout my life, I've always been willing to support the underdog, which is probably where this comment comes from. Because yeah, this I remember this episode was on something along the lines of like supporting those who are really going through it, having a rough time. Whether, like I said, a single mother, or the father who's like been divorced and being for absolutely bullshit reasons, and having their children taken away through child custody and being forced to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, or like the little quiet girl who's been abused by their stepfather or her parents, sitting in the corner, who gets picked on by the group of fucking dumbass, bitchy, sassy, mean girls. So the tomboys are the most down-to-earth people I know throughout my life. And then you also have like just a little, even like the seniors, the old people can get harassed too. Sometimes I've seen like a teacher who's like retiring, and just the classroom was just in a total fit. They were throwing items, they're cussing her out, and she's like, I'm just trying to teach you, I'm just trying to be respectful. You can't even sit down when not, throw items around and be obnoxious, and it's hell. She left the room crying. You know, I'm always here to defend like the underdog. I'm not defend, but like, because I don't want you to be dependent on me, and so I play a little bit devil's advocate here. And you know, recently, a couple months back, there were people who were starting to see me as a bit of a hero in my local society, in my local city, and I kind of rebuked it because I said, you know, there are no heroes. I'm not a hero. I'm not perfect. But I really emphasize that because I kind of, maybe this is a little bit, I'm kind of like I tried a little bit of manipulation tactic here, because I really felt that it was more important that they didn't see me as a hero. Because what is the thing that you always want to do as a mentor, as a coach, or whatever, as a parent, as a grandfather, to your students or your, you know, just friends or colleagues or your, you know, pupils? You want them to be independent. That's the exact opposite of narcissism, right? A narcissism or, you know, some sociopath wants to control you. They want you to be dependent on them. And I know what that's like, and I don't want you to be codependent on me. I want you to grow up and, you know, be stronger and faster than me, smarter than me, more well-rounded, more well-connected, and then you can find your own circle who you can depend on, and then you're able to do things on your own without my assistance. And that, for me, is the greatest thing ever, right? That's what it's about. That's what a proper parent should be. That's what a proper coach should be. That's what a proper master or sensei or sifu should be. That's what proper like mentor, right? Teacher, instructor, professor should do. So, you know, that's what the real ones would do, you know? We want you. We are in your best interests, right? We are in each other's best interests. So that's kind of where it comes from there. I guess that's why I didn't want to say that I'm a hero. And that's the reason. I knew that the semblance was coming up, and I couldn't deny that, yeah, maybe I was starting to look like a hero figure, because actions speak louder than words, and I was going against the grain. There's like 50,000 people going up against me, and I'm the one. It's like Tiananmen Square, one man against 50,000 people. I don't give a fuck. Fuck all y'all if you're insane. I don't follow the mob or the crowd. I'm independent. If you do the right things, I'll go along. If you do the shitty things and start hurting innocent people, there's no way I'm going to stand for that. I don't care if it's 1 million people. I don't care, all right? But that does conjure up, you know, people start to look at you as like a bit of a model or some sort. But the whole point is, you know, I say I'm not a hero. And that's because I don't want you to be dependent on me. I want you to be capable of doing that. And you are capable. And if anyone's telling you that you can't, they're full of shit, okay? They need to suck a dick, honestly. You can. You just, you know, you've been suppressed for so long that you start to get learned helplessness, you start to trauma bond, you start to withdraw, but you can become strong enough to fight back against the bullies, to fight back against the abusers, to abuse the abusers, to bully the bullies, to slander the slanderers. Yes, you can. Yes, you fucking can. Because, you know, what's the conventional saying, conventional wisdom, right? Evil prevails when good men do nothing. Okay? Evil prevails when good men do nothing. And I should add to say that, you know, good men or women, people in general. Okay, so that's where that came from, and that's why I wanted to say, you know, that's a message here. You're doing great. Stay confident, stay proactive, stay reflective. So you like my content? Hopefully, you know, I don't have to repeat that message too often times. It's already here. All right, and so now let's get over to the slightly negative comments. So this is gonna be fun. All right, so here we go. This is a bit of a pain in the ass actually, because I'm trying to get there and everything's still lagging, but it's kind of good setup. But again, the browser tabs are shown here. I'm gonna close off. So, all right, so here we go. A little bit of banter back and forth, and I'm pretty sure, by the way, you know, first of all, I like to say that acknowledge, right? They're not wrong. No, they're not wrong. Like, it's hard to watch some of the shit that I uploaded before, because I wouldn't watch some of that shit. I know that. You think I don't know that shit? I know if I don't watch that shit, you know? Because some of the stuff, most of it, I don't watch. I don't really listen to. It's a time capsule. That doesn't mean that I'm going to look back on it 2 weeks from now, right? So it's absolutely true. When they say, oh, the fuck, you know, this is, I don't know what he's talking about. Some of it is true, and some of them, they're kind of smoking weed and being stupid jackasses. So we'll get to it here. So let's just read it all out here, and I'll offer my insight, and we'll have some banter, some exchange here. So yeah, in the notifications here, it says, there's Gian Cabs, like, hey man, and then there was Jennifer Hill, who left like a little thanks for analysis, but disappeared to comment. So down here, some dude, Luke JF7, it was the funniest shit on the planet, because it popped up on my phone. I woke up the next morning after uploading that shit. I took a look on my phone and I saw this fucking comment. And then I brought some. You know what I mean? The first thing you open my phone, the first thing I see is this goddamn thing here. I was like, high as fuck right now, man. What the fuck is going on? You know, so that was the funniest shit ever. I woke up that morning and I just couldn't stop. I was like half an hour just like snickering the whole damn time because like I replied. I was like, we're gonna get to that. You know, I should just go to that episode right now. I said, you know, it's like, how'd you even get to this episode? You know, how'd you even, what are you doing? How do you even get onto the computer? Are you sure you're actually awake right now and you're not lying on your bed stoned the fuck out, 420 blaze? But, so that was fun. I pinned that. I appreciate that because that one didn't have any real negativity. It's just like some guy trolling. He's just being like, oh, I'm lost. I'm high as fuck. You're too serious, bro. Yeah, it is pretty serious there. Because I was talking about like actual topics that required some focus. But now we're gonna get to some actual criticism, which is actually pretty valid, I would say. And of course, they were being like dickheads and still, but you know, just ignoring all that stuff there. The funny shit aside, the criticism is valid, right? So we had, there's a new subscriber here, Denny. So thanks for subscribing, call out. Thanks for dropping by and tuning in. So over here we have Dolphin and Whale, and there was also a guy named like Keyboard Warrior. And they're like made it 5 minutes and a half in. To be honest, here I want to say, if Dolphin and Whale is by any chance watching this, to be honest, man, I have no idea how you made it 5 minutes in, because I would not have listened to 5 minutes. I wouldn't have done it. Right, the production quality was very low. It's pretty shit. I wasn't talking into the mic. I was far away. Most of the stuff right now still is kind of like half-assed through. I'm trying to work with whatever means I have. It's really shit production for 2025, to be honest, right? Even in like 2015, this would have been okay-ish. It would have been okay. But if you couldn't tell, this project, this multimedia file, is entirely just for so many different reasons, and some of those reasons are just for myself. And so when you say 5 minutes in, I'm like, God damn, you sat through 5 minutes of this shit. I'm like, the fuck? Because I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have listened to my talk for 5 minutes, to be fair. This is me practicing speech. This is me, you know, it's self-therapeutic. Yeah, I am talking to people who are welcome to listen, but not everyone's down with that, and that's fine, you know, because like this is not meant for everyone. It's only really meant for the people who are trying their best. Like I said, are kind of going through hell at the moment, right? They're being bullied or abused, or being beat by their ex, or they just experienced the loss of a loved one. They're grieving, they're suffering, and they're looking for a little bit of connection and support. That's kind of what it is. This project focuses more so on that. And so if you're coming in here after high school, you got your boys out there, you're smoking weed and you're going around there, you know, or you're with your girlfriends out there and you're talking all sassy, like you're going to get some like Chai Town bubble tea. This is not for that kind of audience. Let me tell you just straight up, man. Just, you see the black button, the back button right there? Click that back button and get the fuck out of here, because this is not for you. Okay, I cannot emphasize, you probably will not like this shit if that's, you just popped in for that reason. I think it's just because it's recommended, right? So it's like, that's to be expected. So just want to address that, get that off my chest right off the bat, right? So in the other comments down here, the same thing. The guy's like, keyboard warriors, like, the fuck did I just click on? And at some point, I feel like some people here, even in this city, probably recognized that I had the podcast and found my channel at one point, and it probably came here just to troll. And I thought that's I don't know, what did he say? They say like even bad press is good press because any press is good press. I don't know about that. Sure. I want to go there though, because not only because it's funny as shit, because there's actually someone who actually tried to defend me there. So I'm gonna pop over there into that video. It's gonna take a little bit to load, but there we go. Okay, I'll pull it up. All right, let's just pull up here. All right. All right, pun intended. All right, so we have here, this is the last bit. Okay, we're gonna wrap up here. Again, I really encourage Jen, just like let me know what the criticism was. I'm not sure if it was criticism, maybe you just wanted to have like a remark or comment. I wanted to hear what you had to say. Sorry I missed it. Again, also thanks to Gian and to Rocker Dude. Oh, I also want to do a shout out here soon. But first, also, so Keyboard Warrior, the fuck that I click on, same bro, asking the same thing. Like I said, guys, you don't belong here, man. I checked, you know, I was like, who are these guys? Is that a troll? So I clicked on his channel, and it turns out this guy just made his channel probably just to comment on this. It was like a week before in, and he made his account. So I was like, is this a bot? This guy over here, I don't know, he looks like he's like a COD gamer. I'm like, honestly, respect to that, because like, remember in COD days and back then, the amount of garbage and trash talk in the lobby, right? So it's kind of like Modern Warfare 2 kind of thing. I didn't engage in all that stuff. I had friends who engaged in that kind of stuff, right? I have a lot of different friends. Some of them are very quiet and reserved. Some of them are very shy, you know, boys, girls, men, women, grannies, grandpas. Like I have like a wide variety of like acquaintances and friends and stuff like that. From all different. A lot of them would disagree with each other openly, right? They wouldn't really get along anyways. That's why I have a lot of friends who are individually friends with me, or just a few. I have like a friend group here, a friend group there, acquaintances here, acquaintances there. And so I'm gonna say just straight up, man, you know, I have friends who are just like you. They go out there, they go on the night bars, and they go out, they drink the fuck out, they go partying day in, day out, you know, that's their life. And some of them are like fucking like 30-some years old. And I remember back in the day, they would go in there and they would go to internet cafe and they hang out in the internet cafe and they're like playing COD and playing CSGO or some shit like that. And I was never really that type of guy, but you know, I always like thought it was funny, and we just hung out anyways, right? So I get you, all right? That's your thing, that's a you thing, all right? That's like my buddy's thing. That's not my thing. I got nothing against it. I'm not gonna judge. I know there are people who are judgmental. Some of my friends are judgmental, so I was like, that's fine too. You do your thing. So that's why I say open door policy. You can say the shit you want to say. Okay? But down here, I just want to give a real shout out to this EJ and Emman Gonzalez. So, habla español. Senor. Okay, an obscure and interesting podcast in my opinion. So I just want to say, you know, thanks for just leaving your opinion like that. And I should probably do that right now. So I want to give a shout out to that actually and I left a little funny shit ass comment here. I was like, bro, how'd you even get here? Like, right under the influence of that 420i. Just kind of trolling back. But you know, it is kind of funny. Like, I'm just honest. I don't mean it seriously. You don't mean it. Some of you guys here don't mean it seriously. Some of you do mean it seriously. And I do want to say also that it's true, right? Because like I said, I just want to be clear that, yeah, I don't know how you can make it through some of these things. Now, also at the same time, I want to be clear also that some of you are just fucking retarded because the topics are in the fucking title. So if you're a moron, you can't read the goddamn title. It's right there. It's in the front of the title. And not on top of that in the title, but obviously some of these are stories, right? They're experiences. If you're fucking like scrolling TikTok, like the new generation kind of thing, you have the attention span of a fucking rock and you can only listen and pay attention for 2-3 seconds. This is definitely not for you, right? Because this is like slow storytelling. It's paced and it's very casual. It's like talking with a friend. And honestly, you will have different friends. So as a result, there will be just a majority of people, I assume, will not like vibe with this, and that's totally fine. I didn't make this for everyone, right? Part of this I made it for myself, or we made it for ourselves. So you know, thanks for dropping by. Just like that one's over there, just go watch some other shit. You know, there's like stuff on like Nerf Dart stunts and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you love that. Like Jackass. I love watching Jackass at one point as well. Or South Park. Go do that shit. There's other channels to go by, so we can just go there. But it's true at some point that, you know, even though the topics are listed in the title, I will say that, yeah, you kind of got to sit through it. And not everyone's willing to do that. It's only meant for people who have that kind of patience, who are kind of like going through the motions, or they just like to listen to like a campfire story kind of thing. That's kind of what I do, right? So, campfire story. I don't know if these analogies I pull. So let's just go one more last thing, and then I'm going to end it off. Again, all of this I appreciate, even the negative comments. Like, thanks for just, you know, well, thanks for nothing. Like, love you and fuck you. All right. So, all right. One last thing. I want to give a shout out. So just pause off. And I really wanted to get this episode out. It took me forever to get to this point because I really wanted to reply to all of y'all, but I just didn't have the time, and I'm sorry, you know. I wanted to dedicate a full episode on this, right? And just put it on the Sunday series, which is usually referring to people, right? People, experiences, interactions, and stuff. All right. So this is the last one, and then we're done. So, right, that's all. Today's episode, like I said, is all community. So I just want to leave a little shout out to Emmanuel. Okay. ¿Cómo está? So, it's just thanks for like dropping by and really just giving a different perspective when everyone was kind of dogging on. That was, I guess that episode kind of went a little bit viral. I don't know if viral is still a term, but kind of blew up a little bit. More than I expected. It was a storytelling episode. It was about, varnish and fumes and renovations and just having some camaraderie with an Afghani team and of carpenters and stuff like that. And then some nuisances with getting sick and shit like that. But, it was storytelling and, some people weren't vibing. And Emman, you stepped up to the plate. You had something to say. Stepped up to the plate, Knox Hill. I love Knox Hill. He's good with the breakdowns. He's so good. He's my kind of guy. Yeah, I like the way he thinks. If you can't tell, I like to. It's kind of the same kind of. We're very analytical people, so. But he's big. Knox Hill is big. And he's doing that. He's covering the whole Kendrick Lamar versus Drake kind of thing. He's doing that thing, anyways. But I used to follow him. I still follow him from way back when he was a small channel. I knew this guy. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. He knows all the context. He gets all the bars. All the schemes, the rhyme schemes, everything. He can totally dissect anything because he himself is like built up from that. He's a product of the culture. Now, anyways, Emmanuel, thanks for stopping by. I just want to show. So your channel, 323 subscribers. You apparently left like 1 and 2, and apparently you're like a music producer. It seems so. I mean, you're not. It doesn't seem like you're trying to make anything go anywhere with it, but. Anyways, I just wanted to say thanks, all right, for giving a different perspective despite all that. I always have a lot of love for people who, again, are willing to stand up against the crowd, who don't fall prey to peer pressure, who have some character, have some courage, have some strength. You have a spine, right? I hate cowards, absolutely fucking hate cowards. But, and I'm very unapologetic about that, right? Just being totally me, like snide, like doing shit behind your back, trying to hide, when you've been exposed, trying to like sneak in a laugh here and there, holding a bitter grudge, trying to poke fun at someone because you can get away with it without consequence, kind of, you smarmy ass motherfucker. So I really appreciate people like you who really go against the grain, not necessarily just to be contrarian, right? Sometimes it's okay to go with the crowd if sometimes the crowd gets it right once in a while, but a lot of times they fuck it up. It's like the lemming analogy. It's like a sheep herd, right? One lemming runs off the cliff, all the lemmings run off the cliff, and they just jump off to suicide. Like they could run society off the hills into a civil revolution and burn down businesses and all self-destruct. It's happened multiple times in history, right? Multiple times in history. Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, go way back, to the Mongols. There's always some shit going down. Mob mentality, hate that shit. People who can't think for themselves hate that shit so much. I'm very unapologetic about that. I'm very clear about that. I'm very genuinely honest about that. Especially people who fake the virtue signaling bullshit, pretend to be a good person to get ahead, and then society starts to beat back on all that virtue signaling bullshit that was fake as fuck, and then they take them off their mask immediately because they can't handle the pressure because they were never like that to begin with. Hate those fake ass motherfuckers, okay? So I'm just being straight up. Thank you, Emmanuel, for giving your perspective, and blessings, Sino Nueva de Guadalupe. So that's it for the community thing, and thanks for tuning in again. I look forward to hearing more from some of you who have some things to say, good or bad. Open door policy. Feel free to just say when it's free speech, okay? This is on the internet, so you can say what you want. It's not like you're on the bus or on the train or in the public where you can't just the whole thing about being civil is that when people are going to work and they have duties and responsibilities that they gotta take care of, you gotta respect that. Right, and especially in a setting where you can't walk away, right? That's just awful. That you can't just subject someone to that because they can't just leave the comedy show. They can't just leave the nightclub, right? That's how it works, right? That's why you can do it in settings like a night bar. That's why you can tell like obnoxious, racist, sexist jokes, whatever you want to call it. Those is jokes. I don't think there's such thing as like racism or sexism at that level. But the point is, if you do those things at a night bar, at a stand-up comedy show, at a sports game, that's called banter. That's called a fucking joke, man. That's called flirting. That stuff happens in a context where people can always opt in and opt out, so they can just leave. The same thing is true with the internet. And so I believe that if you have something to say, you can definitely say it right here on my channel. And again, if I don't like it, I can just not read it and stuff. That's why you can just pop in, open door policy, just come here and say what you need to say. Okay? So that being said, this is the right context, in other words, right? Not in real life, out on the fucking train, or out on when someone's trying to do their job, right? Not being a dickhead like that, but at the sports bar, at the nightclub, on the internet, with your close group of friends, maybe inside a household, that's all chill. So context, okay? So thanks for tuning in. I look forward to any more comments you have to say. Anything that was missed, drop it down and let me hear what you have to say. So all right, I've done a long recording and a production session, so I'm gonna shut up now and just kind of go to sleep, or there's some stuff I need to do actually on the side. So it's peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully it's smooth sailing from here. So cheers.